At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Tigers overwhelmed by the Tide, and we got to break it down on the Hannycast.
The Hannycast, a weekly LSU football film study with Charles Hannigriff and former LSU tight end Richard Dickson. Now to break down the Tiger tape, here's Charles and Richard.
Well, welcome into this week's version of the Hannycast. I'm Charles Hannigriff, along with former Tiger Richard Dickson. And LSU just completely dominated a 42-13 loss to Alabama. This one stings for a lot of reasons. This was a de facto playoff elimination game, Rich. A third loss is going to make it really hard. Probably takes that off the table. Everything was sort of set up. LSU had the game in Tiger Stadium. The crowd was electric. The weather held up enough that nobody left before the game started. And right out of the chute, Alabama took control of this game and never really let up. And it seemed like LSU was really unprepared for this game.
Yeah, I mean, it was frustrating from the standpoint that, you know, we talked all week long for 2 weeks basically that stopped the quarterback run game, and it comes out there. It's something that we don't get done. The offense looked very similar to the second half of the A&M game. Nussmeier getting fooled in some coverages, really struggling to push the ball down the field. And it was just an all-out, rough game to watch. The
run game by the quarterback was so frustrating because this is the double whammy, right? Last year, Jalen Milroe essentially won this game for Alabama. He had 155 yards on 20 carries and 4 touchdowns. This year, he comes in and has 30 more yards on 8 fewer carries and essentially dominates the game again. And this is 2 weeks after, and the next game after, Marcel Reed did the same thing for Texas A&M. So why they were not more prepared for this, or maybe the game plan was fine, the execution wasn't. We're going to look at this film here and see. They just had no answer for him.
Yeah, to me, it's a little bit of both. You're going to see plays similar to Marcel Reed's plays where the defense was called correctly, guys didn't get in the right run fits and right gaps. And then in this game, there's one play on the long one where we have a bad blitz call into it. It's unfortunate timing. But there's other ones where we're getting 2 and 3 guys in the same gap and not playing with gap integrity.
Marcel Reed is a talented runner. Jalen Milroe is an exceptional runner, but they're not every week dominating another team, okay? Just last year, the game he had against LSU, we're talking about Milroe, was by far the biggest one, by 70 yards, the biggest game that he had. This year, he's only run for 100 yards in one other game. Marcel Reed, the week after they played LSU, they went to South Carolina. South Carolina held him to 2.9 yards a carry. The three touchdowns he scored against LSU match his career high in one game. So I think that's the frustrating thing. Tim Tebow ran on everybody. Yeah. Okay, you played against Tebow. Cam Newton ran on everybody. These guys don't run on everybody. They just run on LSU. That's the aggravating part.
Oh, trust me, it is as frustrating as it possibly can be, especially when you go back and look at the other games. You're like, we can talk about Vanderbilt having a great year this year. We're talking about being down on talent. I would take our talent over Vanderbilt's defensive talent 9 times out of 10. It's just the way that the guys fit and the way that guys understand the scheme of the defense.
All right, let's take the medicine early here. This is the first play we're going to look at is the 39-yard run by Jalen Milroe to open the scoring in this game. This is from the LSU 39-yard line.
Yeah, you can go ahead and hit play, but it's hard to see from this angle. You're going to end up with Swinson, I think, makes a mistake. You get 2 guys playing the outside gap with a corner with no protection. You get Whitweek's over pursuing, getting in the wrong gap. And it's just like when you have 2 or 3 mistakes, it gashes the play, and you're sitting there wondering what happens.
All right, let's take a look here at the formation.
So you're going to see that, Swinson's playing a head-up 7 right here, but he also has a free cornerback. Cornerback's going to have contain. Swinson's got to keep his inside gap. He gambles, plays outside, and then so you're going to have a seal here. Both D tackles get doubled. Suggs tries to hold it. He gets beat a little bit. 93, Bro, he gets beat up pretty good, but you're going to get a 2 gap right here where Witt is trying to cover up for somebody, and it's really because Swinson ends up bouncing outside.
Let's take a look from the end zone view.
Hit pause right here. Right here, Swinson is the inside gap. He's got to stay inside because you got 14 out here. He's got the edge. And if you were to stay right here, you look, Weeks right here, this is his gap. Every gap would be covered. But when he decides to bounce outside, it creates a seam right here, which Weeks starts gambling. Do I play the inside or do I play the outside gap? He's got his head inside where he's supposed to be. But when he sees Milroe bouncing out this way, he sticks his head back this way, gets washed, and it creates a big gap on the backside.
Can we talk about the safety where
we'll
Gilbert is?
Rewind that again. And I think right here, hit pause. I think you saw how his head was inside where he's supposed to be in this gap right here. I think that's where he was supposed to be. The safety's supposed to be fitting right here. And if everybody fits those gaps, like you said, Swinson's supposed to be on the inside right here with 14 on
Alexander,
the edge.
yeah.
They would have this thing sewed up. When 4 jumps outside, okay, so now you got 2 guys on the outer half right here. Weeks peeked inside, saw him bailing out this way. So now you're going to have 2 guys in this gap right here, which leaves nobody on the backside.
Is Swinson not trying to I see him turn his shoulders here. Is he not trying to funnel Milroe back to the inside?
He's trying to squeeze, but at that point, then what is 14 doing? You got to do your job. If he's trying to squeeze that, then 14 needs to fit right here. And then you're going to have 3 guys in the same gap regardless.
All right, let's run it forward a little bit here. All right. Now,
Look, 40,
now Gilbert is committed well, yeah.
4, 14, you got 4 guys carrying 1 gap and nobody on the backside. And look, Bro got washed right there. He's a young guy. He's got to learn, get more physical. But he just straight up gets beat right there, washed. 31 allows the wash on the backside, and you have nobody containing the backside gap. Which, look, Weeks has been our best defensive player. My assumption, just by watching the snaps, that was his role, to stay on that backside.
You see any more from the wide side here?
You'll see a bigger picture if you let it go just a little bit. Press pause at the mesh point. So right there, this is a run design to the right. If 4 right here looks pretty good, but this is right when he's trying to fight back outside. You got 14 filling in right here. Milroe wants to bring the ball here. But when he jumps outside, 14 stays outside. Look, Weeks got to fit this gap right here. And I get what he's saying. He's got his head in there. He's looking at Milroe. He knows Milroe's about to bounce it. But when he bounces it, one of these guys has to stay integrated to the inside. You get 40 and 2 both filling outside. You get 4 and 14 both filling outside. And there's nothing on the backside of the field.
I don't think he ever got touched.
No, he didn't get touched.
And that put LSU in a 7-0 hole. They would never lead in this game. We're brought to you by Marucci Sports, founded and operated by current and former big leaguers. Hey, the Hitter's House, 5801 Segan Lane, undergoing some changes right now, some real good improvements coming to the Hitter's House. You can be a member, 24/7 access to the members-only cages, bullpen cage reservation opportunities, 15% retail store discount. Like I said, some great things coming to the retail store. All the Marucci aluminum composite bats are available there. New Hitter's House at 1801 Airline Drive in Metairie. I tell you what, they got some great expansions coming up with the Hitter's Houses and the retail opportunities with them. For more information, go to maruccisports.com. Okay, you found a positive play, bless your heart. This was 2nd and 10 from midfield. This is LSU's first possession, and Caden Durham is going to get loose.
Yeah, you're going to see that I'm not sure what the read is on here, but you're going to see, Nussmeier sees something that they've been coached up on. They motion back to the pistol formation, which we've talked a lot about, especially last week. That evens the field. When we're in pistol, it's really hard to tell which side of the ball we're running to. But when we get over there, they're going to make an adjustment. Once they go to pistol, you're going to see the safety's going to carry the running back here. Once they go to pistol, he goes on the backside, and it opens up the gap up the middle of the field.
Let's watch it. Trips to the near side.
So watch. We go to pistol, the safety, Ocean Springs boy, Bray Hubbard, goes over to the left side. And we really get a good block by only, I would say, 50 and 86, Taylor and Emory Jones. They did a really good job passing it off, sealing the guy on the backside. I think this run was probably more could have gone inside and you could have had a bigger play. You want to see 79. This is something he struggled with. He gets beat a lot across his face. They got to work up right here. Right now, you got Emory Jones and 86. They're 2 for 2 right here. He's getting that motion on the inside. They pass it off well when he passes over. But we get beat on the inside. 65 never gets the cut off. 79 really doesn't get up. It could have hit earlier if they make their blocks. But because of what they do right here and the way they carry the outside, you'll really see from the wide view, the wide receivers block it pretty good.
We've talked about running out of the pistol. So once you get, and he moves Durham back behind him.
So watch, you're going to get the safety run back over here, and this is really important in 2 plays when we show you. Right now, the field's open. Right now, you're going to have 2 for 2. These 2 got to get these 2, and a gap could hit up here. These handle it pretty well. 79 gets beat, doesn't get up the top. Frazier really, I don't know if it's an MA on his part. He's still working to the right, but once he realizes this guy plays soft and they both get up on him, Frazier has to hit 0 faster. 79's got to cut him off. And there could have been a bigger play up the middle. Hit pause, go back just a half second. I'm going to tell you to hit pause, and there. Right here, when he flies out, Frazier has to get back because you see 79's getting beat across the face. That kind of stretches the play. But if he works from here to here.
Okay, let me ask a dumb question. How's Frazier supposed to know that Chester's getting beat that bad with his back to the play?
It's not supposed to be getting back. It's understanding responsibility. That once he flies out, it's 50 and 86 are responsible for those guys. When you see him crossing his face right here, work back. You always understand once you can't get there, there's no way he's going to cut him off. He's already out leveraged. So he's got to work back, chip through here to 80 because these 2 guys end up on the same spot. They don't really get anything done. And then 70 eventually works back and it helps out on the seal. But I think this play really could have hit up this gap, which would have probably been a home run if they'd, he'd been further away from the DB. It just pushes the ball further out, and one's just a great athlete. You think Durham is our guy that can break away with speed, but one made a great play.
He did, and I wonder if Durham is still
I started
quite
questioning
100%.
At that point.
Yeah.
He didn't seem 100% because that's one of the times when he gets an open field like that, you assume him to break it. But if you watch right here, the receivers block. This run play right here is on the receivers. They blocked really well on the edge. Everybody gets covered up. 29 finds a seam.
It was well blocked on the outside. Might have been the happiest I was all night, Rich.
I thought we were going to answer really quick.
Felt pretty good at that point. All right, Milroe didn't throw a lot of passes in this game, but this was one down in the red zone. They're at the LSU. They are at the 7-yard line, and this was going to take them down just right around the 1.
This is a 3rd and 5. Look, at this point, the reason I put this in here is, this is to stop them from scoring on consecutive drives. Make them kick a field goal, keep it close. This is in a situation where we're in a 3rd and 5. You can make a play right here and force the field goal.
All right, let's take a look. Set the formation. What's LSU doing here?
They're going to drop zone right now. You got, he's going to play the flat defender. He's playing deep. He's playing in the middle. Whit Weeks gets in a bad situation here. 18 is going to come outside to block the cutoff, which puts Whit Weeks man-on-man with the running back, and the running back wins.
Running backs won a lot of them. Just a little circle route. What
you call it? It's an angle route.
Yeah.
He's going to start outside and come back in. I'm really confused by what Swenson's doing right here. You're going to have an off-ball tight end. He's playing off the ball. I really don't understand what he's doing other than maybe trying to slow him up, but he reaches out with the tight end and then decides to come off. I don't know if that point that is he supposed to be the flat defender because he starts on coverage with the tight end, and it made Weeks' job easier to play a little bit further inside.
What Kelly talked about today with these backs was when they were venturing towards the outside, whether they were going to kick the defender out or they were going to continue up the field with a route.
Yeah, I don't see that really coming into play here. My guess is that you're going to have a deep zone, flat zone. Once this guy releases, he takes off because he plays the tight end at first. He's going to take him on the outside to make sure he's not getting reached for a stretch play. But then he decides to blitz. And it puts 40 in a really tough spot because when you're in an option route with the running back, his goal is to prevent from inside breaker. But once Swinson's gone, he's got to try to play both sides. He's an outbreaker, inbreaker, and he gets over his feet. Which all in all, it wasn't greatly covered on the backside. You're going to see, rewind it real back and watch number 5. He could have probably hit the touchdown right here where Burns' eyes are all the way inside, and he's running like a little seam post.
Dealer's choice, if you will. All right, that made it a 14-3 ball game. We're brought to you by Dependable Storage, now with 8 locations in Louisiana and 1 in Gulfport, Mississippi. Check out the new facilities in Slidell and Youngsville. They'll match any competitor's pricing, convenient online rentals, and payments with free use of their moving truck for new rental move-ins. Clean, secure, and conveniently located. Check out the website at dependablestorage.com for locations, pricing, and rentals. Like Skip always says, Dependable Storage wants your stuff. Okay, we're going to move forward here to another run by Caden Durham. This one doesn't bust for nearly as much, and you say Alabama made an adjustment here.
Yeah, it's the exact same run play. We just don't motion to it. We get straight to it out of the huddle. But you're going to see where 18 earlier when we had him on the right side, he motioned over to the left. He stays in the box the whole time right here. There's going to be another check play. They make the check. You're going to see the linebacker point over to the right, which kind of concerns me that they understand what we're trying to do right here. He starts pointing to where the play's going. They keep the safety in the box. And the same thing happens. We get a good block, but instead of this busting for 45 like the one before, it's a 7-yard run.
Before we let the play run, and this is a run play, not a pass play, but Kalen DeBoer in his postgame did allude to the fact that we saw enough on film that there were times where we had a pretty good idea where they were going. I'm paraphrasing here, but pretty good idea where they were going.
You've heard that through multiple outlets at this point that they're starting to get an understanding of what Joe Sloan's wanting to do, and he's becoming a little bit more predictable.
Let's take a look here. It's a positive play, but nothing near like what they had the first time. So they don't motion into the pistol this time.
They line up in it. They start to check it out. Look, everybody's pointing left. They're bringing the safety down into the box instead of bringing them over here. And when it hits up the gap, the safety comes in to make the play and stop where he wasn't previous because he had motioned over to the left side of the ball.
All right, when we go to the end zone view, I'm going to have a question for you. Okay, if Durham had started out on the right side and then motioned back into this, do you think Alabama would have played it the way they did the first time, or they would still be in this? They had already made the adjustment is what I'm asking you.
Yeah, I really don't think so because this is where, when he was on the right side, this is where he was. I think it's an adjustment made because we get a look over here. Nussmeier goes and makes a check. I don't think this was a call originally, but once they make the check, all they do is bring the safety down into the box.
I'm looking at my little play sheet here. Durham made the 45-yard run with 10:20 to go in the first quarter. This play is run with 1:50 to go in the first quarter. Alabama made an adjustment from the 10-minute mark to the 1-minute mark. LSU didn't make an adjustment the whole game. This is going to drive people crazy,
Yeah, well, I didn't mean for you to point it out that blatantly, but yeah.
Well, look, man, I don't enjoy this, no.
These guys are reading it. All the Alabama linebackers are pointing. Get over. They
know where it's going.
They're very well coached. They understand. Look, this could have been a bigger play. We don't get the reach blocks. Caden Durham makes a cut, but they understood what was about to happen. They made the adjustment. They bring guys down.
And they hold it to a 7-yard gain is what LSU makes on this play. You go from 45 to
see, run back to the tight view real quick.
All right.
So right here, this is Paul Mabinga. He struggles to get right here. He doesn't get the cutoff. He gets beat. And this is another scenario where, Cushenberry has really struggled to get to the next level. He has to get up here on 0. He tries to work up there. They both get beat over the top. And Durham's still able to get 7 yards out of it.
Cushenberry probably would have gotten there. It's Chester. Cushenberry probably would have gotten there. Sorry, guys.
But to me, that is the exact same play we ran on the 45-yard play. We get a different look. Alabama adjusts. They bring the safety down into the box, and they prevent it from being another big play.
And you don't think that the lack of motion had anything to do with it?
No, I think that, once they got here, my thing is everybody on the defense is pointing.
Yeah, and the same three receivers,
they
same
block
guys
on the
out
outside,
here.
but the safety stays in the box.
Okay, now let me take up for LSU here for a second because one of the big criticisms was that Caden Durham wasn't in the game enough and that they didn't run him enough. All right, so if Alabama's already made an
I
adjustment
agree.
here, okay. But if Alabama's already made an adjustment here in the first quarter, was there less room for him to run on some of these things that they were showing?
There could be, but I mean, I'm still taking a 7-yard run. I mean, they made the adjustment, they filled the box, and we were still able to fit it for 7 yards. I mean, the first half of football, I think in the first quarter, maybe early in the second quarter, we had 56 yards or 55 yards, double what we had against A&M, and then it just we went away from it. And I get that they busted out in the second half, get a bigger lead, but we completely abandoned the run game.
We're brought to you by Lake Urgent Care, 25 years of experience dedicated to providing quality care close to home. They treat minor illnesses and injuries for ages 3 months and up at 17 convenient locations, including Baton Rouge, Hammond, Livingston, and Ascension Parish, plus occupational health and weight loss solutions. As a seamless extension of Our Lady of the Lake, patients can access care from anywhere with the My Client Patient portal. Our urgent care centers are open 7 days a week. Simply walk in, check in online, or schedule a virtual care visit at lakeurgentcare.com. Okay, this ends up being an incomplete pass, but they didn't throw a whole lot of balls over the top. Maybe the weather had something to do with that, but they had some opportunities, and this is one that they missed.
This might be the one that, that kind of scared him away from it because he is their most sure-handed receiver. He gets the look he wants. We're in cover one man. Everybody's running man. I don't know what Sage is doing right there. But look, 14 just gets beat. I mean, he can't run with Williams. Not a lot of people can, but you got to have help over the top. And I'm
Let me
not
back
sure
it up.
what Sage is doing.
All right, let's you said it's cover one, and you can't really see it on this thing, but it's raining at this point. I remember
it's
this.
raining
I
really
remember
well.
this play. So
So you're going to have man-on-man with 14 on Williams. You got 2 covering the slot
Gilbert,
receiver.
yeah.
You're going to have the safety over the top 3. But for some reason, he helps out Gilbert instead of where, in my opinion, all eyes should be on Williams.
Watch it from this angle one more time. If this ball is well thrown, or if it's not raining, this is a touchdown.
It's as good as it can be thrown. He gets both hands on it. It's a little out front. He makes his catch 9 out of 10 times. But if you watch the front, look, their offensive line did a great job. We didn't get pressure here. They push him back. They throw it deep. You can't throw it much better. I mean, he gets it in his hands. Thank God it was pouring down. This was the hardest it rained in the whole game.
Yeah, okay. Let's take a look here.
If I'm watching this.
They're trying to – Penn ends up coming on this play. I
think it's more of a green dog. I think he either has the back or tight end, whichever one stays in.
Okay.
He comes in off the blitz. But where I'm really concerned is Sage. We're playing heavy over the right side. I'm not sure if he's trying to help anyone out over there, but you're getting Ryan Williams free. I mean, that's their biggest threat. I want Sage playing more in the middle right here because you're already showing what you're doing.
Williams is to the far outside.
So hit pause right here.
Okay.
Sage's eyes have already gone to the crosser. He's looking at helping over to safety instead of getting depth right here to help the cornerback.
Oof.
Look, 14's been our best cornerback. Williams is probably the best receiver in the SEC. You got to help out on that.
Yeah, he's a special talent. We talked about whether they would go with him or just wherever he ended up. That's who took him. He only ended up with 2 catches in the game. But with what Milroe did, it didn't matter.
I will say, we talked about that. 14 swapped sides of the field in this game. He played on the right side and left side.
All right, this is one of the plays that LSU did a good job on. This is the 4th and 1 where LSU stops it for no gain and takes a football. This is from the LSU 40-yard line.
Swinson makes this play. I mean, this is his best play of the game. I want to say that, I'm surprised this didn't get the first down, but the way that Swinson blows up the tight end, he runs him straight into the running back, left him really no option. We're going to get our tackle. I think it's Bro here. He gets beat pretty bad. Not sure what he's doing, looping inside. But you got to watch Swinson. The play he makes, he drives the guy into the backfield and really stops the play.
Let's watch it here.
Really confused the way where Bro, he's like overstepping 2 gaps because he gets so over that from this glance right here, you're going to think he's going to hit it right here for a first down. But watch what Swinson does. He drives this tight end into the running back's lap.
Sure did.
But go back because if like that Swinson made the play without what he does to this tight end, But the gap you get right here, because I get where you're going to loop in a little bit, but 93 comes all the way to where him and Gio Pius run into each other. He ends up falling down, and it creates a big gap over on the left side.
Thankfully, Swinson made the play.
And you'll see it good from here. I mean, he drives this tight end into the mesh point. He forced the ball out of where they were trying to go.
Unfortunately, right after LSU got the ball back, they missed a blitz pickup. We don't have that play, but that was the one when Nussmeier fumbles it back, and immediately you turn the momentum right back around.
Yeah, it was, to get that 4th and down stop, get the momentum going. We're still within reach of the game. And then the very first play, Nussmeier tries to roll out. We've asked him to run a little bit. This is maybe he's not the most fleet foot on this one, and they make a good play stripping the ball.
All right, this next play, we're into the second half now. This was one of the backbreakers, or maybe the backbreaker. LSU was down 21-6. They had driven down to the 4-yard line, and Nussmeier's intercepted right at the goal line. They score here, make it 21-13. The crowd's going to be back into it. You're not even halfway through the third quarter, and it's ball game. You've been completely dominated to this point. But if it's 21-13, crowd's going to get back in it. You're going to get going. You're going to get a little bit of momentum. But Lawson makes the interception here.
It's the second opportunity we had to get back in the game, because once we got the 4th down stop, we're on the plus side of the field or right there at the middle of the field. We couldn't make a play, get a few more points. Then we get this opportunity, and it just, it drains the momentum.
All right, let's set the formation here.
What they're going to look at, what Nussmeier sees is that everybody's covered man. He's going to read man. Really what you have is that the linebackers are checking for inside crossers. You're going to get the guy carry with, I think it's 14 for just a second. But really his only responsibility is to slow him up across the inside, and the safety's going to take him man. Once he slows him up and engages 14, he looks to go to the outside breaking slant. And it's just too late, because he comes off 14. He's sitting right there in the lane.
Yeah, that is Trey Dez. And when he went into the game, which he didn't play very much, but I thought they might be looking for him when he came into the game here.
It's simple. I mean, they're going to run it's like a man with zone on the inside. They're going to look to try to check up on any in breakers. You got the outside guy right here. They got 2 guys on Lacey. You got the guy playing the man. He's looking for him on the inside or playing with him on the outside. We get over here. And it's a tough look. You're going to see it looks like he's carrying him, but he's got to realize that the safety's got him man-to-man. All the linebackers doing is checking him to slow him up on the in-breaker.
Let's watch the play. He was down for the touchback, so they don't even get pinned in bad field position here. Let's watch it from the end zone.
Hindsight's 2020. I wish he would have realized what the coverage was. He'd have come off and hit Williams in the flat, which would give him a better chance to score. But you're going to see what he sees, and maybe better from the outside view. I think it's 0. All he does is check Green on the inside breaker, not realizing the safety he already has in man. He thinks both guys are carrying. And the second he goes to throw, 0 comes off of it, and he's sitting in the lane and makes a pick. He checks him right here. And the second he engaged 14, Nuss had already made up his mind.
I don't know that Daniels is really open either, even if that ball gets by him.
No, I think he's open. Well, you'll see it pretty good from over here. And because 14's going to carry. Right
okay,
there. He's open.
He might have got it in there. Got a better view there.
Run it back real quick, and I see where he makes up his mind. If you watch Bray Hubbard, number 18, he's got a man. He's going to check the inside and come off. When he engaged in him, Nuss just read full man and sold out on the outside slant. But what frustrates me is I feel like coordinators are starting to be able to confuse Nuss, because they did it against A&M. They started playing that match man to where guys would carry him for a little bit and fall off. There's another play I really wanted on here that I just didn't find the exact play. Is where Anderson on a deep crossing route, same thing. The corner carries the wide receiver on a post route, and right when he breaks off, he bails out to the backside deep zone, and he almost picks it. Anderson makes a great job breaking it up.
What do you do about that?
You watch more film. You got to understand what they're doing. You got to understand that they're not always – what they're showing you is not what you're going to get, and understand that, they're playing a certain – if a guy's beat too easily, he probably didn't have a man. He's just carrying him shortly.
We're brought to you by Bayou Apparel, helping local businesses communicate their message since 2009. It's one of only a few local LSU official licensees. Bayou Apparel offers the highest quality products to showcase your brand, whether you've got an established one or a new one. Bayou Apparel design experts help you create eye-catching designs that fit your company's message. They do logos, event T-shirts, and promotional items for your business. Call 225-928-9090 or go to the website at bayouapparel.com. This is, well, I call the other play the backbreaker, so I can't really call this one the backbreaker. This just kind of finished it off. This is the 72-yard run by Milroe that essentially put the final dagger in here.
Yeah, and this is one where you heard Brian Kelly talking to press conference. You know, one of them was misfits, which showed you end up with 4 guys and 2 gaps that open up the backside. This is just a tough break. I mean, we call a blitz into it. Guys get washed on the blitz, and they end up creating a big scene.
I really want to watch this from the end zone, so yeah. I don't need to watch him go all the way down the field more than once from this angle. So let's watch from the back, the end zone view, and you can show us what Milroe sees here.
So you're going to get 42 is going to run out with the running back carrying a man. To me, the biggest point of it is Gilbert's got to be faster. He's blitzing, but you're going to end up with 40 getting washed. Swinson, this is a bad play by him because he's got to understand when you get a down blocker on the tackle, he's got to come off his ass screaming to blow up the guy that's trying to do the kick out. He gets up the field. It creates a big seam on the backside. You get Gilbert just run straight up the back of Suggs or Shan, whoever's playing that.
It's Shan, I believe.
He doesn't get there. Like, you're going to watch as it goes forward. He's sitting right now at about 10 yards back, but when the ball snapped, he's 5 yards. He's got to hit here. Swinson has to be screaming right here. You see him, like, it's almost like he read pass on the whole deal. He's getting up the field. When you get the down blocker, he's got to be off this tackle's butt, hitting this guy in the middle, which would have stopped this way. Gilbert, he's on the blitz, but where is he going? I don't know, because this guy's pulling. He's got to be screaming right through here. And even though they're talking about it's a bad call into it because, look, it's a 74-yard run for a reason. But if everybody played their exact technique, it's a shorter gain. You make it a little bit more tougher for him to get wide open. But when you hit play, watch for Gilbert. He's too slow. You get 3 guys in the same gap. Swinson gets way up the field and gets knocked on his butt, and there's really nothing you can do. Running back one more time. I think this is the best view from the tight zone. But watch Swinson. When the guy the second they snap the ball, right there, there's way too much gap between him and the tackle. When the tackle blocks down, you know it's a block down kick out. I mean, that you've been taught that since you were
down kick. Yeah.
Since you were 6th, 7th grade. But by him getting up the field, if he's screaming right there and meets him right there off the tackle's butt, there's nowhere to go this way. You force Milroe up into here, and it probably eventually gets stopped. I'd like to see, I don't know what Gilbert's doing really. He's supposed to be blitzing, but he runs straight up the nose tackle's butt. Weeks gets washed on his blitz. And all that being said, if Swinson comes down on the down kick out, he's got to stop it right there, and it makes the play slower. It doesn't allow him just to gash and go.
There's the gash, and there's the go. I can make it go forward too. All right, anything else from the wide view here?
The only other thing I would say
that you can see better.
It's just a bad angle on Sage Ryan. Sage Ryan plays up and tries to, it's something that you've been taught for a long time too. Know your rush lanes. Know your pursuit drill. Everybody runs a pursuit drill at the end of practice. Everybody knows which angles to run at, and he really plays up and takes himself out to play. Look, right there, he runs forward. You never run forward right there because you got too much field over here. He's got to take this angle to stop it at a 20-yard gain or a 15-yard gain. Instead, he tries to play up and runs himself out to play. I mean, he runs a big U.
Sure did. It's the last time in my life I'll ever watch that play.
Last time I'll ever watch this game.
I've seen it enough times. Dana Brown, the law office of O.C. Brown, bring you today's Hannycast. We've always trusted Dana and his team of attorneys for multiple things that we've needed from a legal standpoint in our lives. You can trust them to be your law firm for a lifetime, family-owned and operated. Dana's carried on his father OC's legacy for the last 30 years. They truly should be your own first and only call, and the first consultation is always free. Call them at 343-1111. On the web, it's OC Brown, OSSIEBrown.com. And right down the street from the law office of OC Brown, Town Square Pizza, Baton Rouge's newest pizzeria downtown, the Square Pizza, made from scratch right there in front of you, but in a timely manner so you can get back to your office. If you're working downtown and you got a limited amount of time for lunch, head on over to Town Square Pizza. Generous portions. You're going to be bringing some back to the office with you for later. Town Square Pizza in downtown Baton Rouge. Okay, this is a 4th down and 5 at Alabama's 21. This is about 3.5 minutes, a little over 3 minutes into the fourth quarter. And this pass is complete, but it is short of the first down.
And the most frustrating thing to me is you got to score in the red zone. This is our 4th or 5th time getting down inside the red zone, and you look at the scoreboard, we only have 6 points.
All right, we'll watch it first, and then we'll come back and.
This is 4th and 5, do or die. You got to keep going. I think the big thing you're going to see from the wide view is Lacey's got to be stronger. He gets shoved, gets pushed off his route. I think Nussmeier had made up his mind where he's going with the ball, and once Lacey's pushed out, he's kind of lost. He panics and dumps it off because if you see really from the wide view, if he comes back to the left side of the field, there's better options on a 4th and 5 play instead of dumping it to the running back who's got a zone defender sitting right there to make the play.
Lacey's got a lot of company back there where he was.
Watch Lacey. He's got to be stronger here. There's no way you try to run on inside leverage and dip your shoulder, but he gets shoved to the ground, completely throws off the route. Because right here, he's going to run a corner. Yeah. And it's so off-timed right there. Once he gets shoved, Nussmeier comes back to look for him. He's not where he's supposed to be, and he just panics, dumps it off. But if I'm him right here, when I see him get shoved, I turn back. I'm throwing to Green or Mason Taylor. They're tight throws, but on a 4th and 5, when I know they got the zone right here, you get both of them. They're going to get hit the second they catch the ball, but they're at a better distance than throwing it off to a running back who's got a linebacker sitting in zone coverage right behind them.
Okay, that's where we will call it a night. Rich, after if you're the psychological is what I'm going to talk about. We know what the physical is. Okay, they got 3 more games. They're 3 games against teams that Vanderbilt's having a terrific year for Vanderbilt. But Florida's down their 3rd-string quarterback. DJ Lagway is going to try to go this week. And then Oklahoma's having one of their worst seasons in the last quarter century. So without the playoffs on the line, without an opponent that's having a stellar year, and with all due respect to Vandy, you got to keep this group engaged. And I got to think that that's even more challenging in the transfer portal age, and if you're not going to be in the playoffs, whatever happens for the bowl game and stuff like that. So that to me is Kelly's charge. There's some valuable reps. There's some valuable information to be gleaned here. You still got a quarter of the season left, but if the goals are off the board, it's tough to keep them focused.
Yeah, you just got to go down the goal list. I mean, everybody starts with a national championship, SEC championship, 10-win season. I mean, that's the top 3 goals. Look, you can scratch off the first 2. You got to turn your focus to the 10-win. It's still something attainable. That's what the push is going to be. These guys want a 10-win season. The fans don't want to hear it, but 10 wins means a lot. I mean, that means you go out there and you dominate the majority of the games you played. And like I said, in the postgame, you've got to understand that you can't quit because the older guys, they're playing for film. I mean, they want to go out and show the best football that they got. The younger guys, they want to go out and show what they can be next year. So there's still different ways to motivate yourself.
That'll be Brian Kelly's charge as we move forward. Thanks to everybody for watching us. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and we'll be back next week with another version of the Hannycast.